Putin. Real quick. Y'all heard about this interview with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. Well, you know, it was mega people. And we even had somebody even on our page saying that was a wonderful interview that Tucker did. First of all, Tucker went down to Russia. I thought it was done on the TV. He actually went to Russia and interviewed him in person. And he didn't even realize when Vladimir Putin was insulting him because he's such an egghead. He told Vladimir Putin, said, I heard you was once wanted to be in the CIA or something like that. In other words, you're a dumb skull. How would you get in the CIA? You got to remember, that's how Vladimir Putin started. Yeah. He started in Russia in that spy.
That's what Sarah said.
That's how he started.
Sarah said, if you go back in his life.
That's his history.
He grew up wanting to be a part spy. Of that. And he had went there and they said that he couldn't they don't take walk-ins. So he got prepared and got himself in, where he needed to be. But he always wanted to be one of those.
And he was pretty much telling KGB. He pretty much was telling Tucker Carlson, "You're an idiot."
Yeah, he was kind of.
I worked to get where I was, and then how would they let you big dumb numbskull in there?
So much came out of this interview, but it was really a waste of time.
Right, and then they said, "Well, what media did you watch to see? Did you watch CNN and MSNBC, or whose take did you take on it? Did you watch and then of course Fox they name all of the right-wing people. See, that's the problem with the people in this country. They only watch one set of news or the other.
Right.
They don't watch everybody. And then they don't listen for themselves.
Right.
I told this person I watched it myself and it wasn't a good interview. He's a numbskull. And he's he's actually worse than a numbskull.
Right.
Because at least a numbskull walks in and they can't be used.
Right.
He's worse than an imbecile. That's it. He's not an imbecile. He's a numbskull.
Okay.
An imbecile, you can't even use them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like somebody coming in, they sit down, they so stupid.
Really?
I can't even use you. You're dumb.
Yeah.
This guy's a numbskull.
But people
I can at least have you take back what I want you telling me here, and you're so dumb, you will.
They thought it was a great interview, but there's questions that they were saying Putin had wanted him to ask, and he never did.
When he left, again, what news outlet are you looking at? Putin said in his own words. In other words, Tucker Carlson is a numbskull.
Yeah.
His way of saying it. I'm saying the word, but I'm reading what you said.
A description of a numbskull.
Tucker Carlson's interview last week with Russian President Vladimir Putin was so soft that even Putin thought it was a letdown.
Yeah.
Remember, he's KGB.
Right.
His history is getting information out of people. Why would I fly this dummy over here? He didn't even try to trick me up. He literally let me tell him what I want to say and take it back to the United States. You're not even, you know what he is? He's not even a mouse and a cat. At least a cat plays around with the mouse. He has to smother him. He has to play with him.
And the mouse be afraid to move sometimes.
Yeah.
Because you may scratch
Tucker Carlson don't even move. It wasn't fun for Vladimir.
But what was his motive, you think, for doing this?
Well, he's a Trumpster.
Okay.
Remember, they love Putin.
So he wants brownie points.
Yeah, they love Putin.
Okay.
Now, to be honest, he said, I thought that he would behave aggressively and ask so-called sharp questions. He said, this is Vladimir Putin's own words. For those of you who say, well, we're a news outlet. According to the translator. Now, according to them, they'll say that the translator was lying. You know, they'll say that.
Exactly. That's not what Putin said.
Yeah, that's not what Putin said. The translator was lying.
Right.
I was not just prepared for this, he said. I wanted it because I would give my opportunity to respond in the same way. He wanted to come off aggressive. He made him come off soft. Putin don't want to come off soft.
He wants to show people that
he wants to show power. You making him look soft, and he's in the middle of a war in Ukraine.
So, do you like running through the fields of lilies?
Yeah.
And on top of mountains and waterfalls?
Carlson, who was let go from Fox News last year, released a 2-hour interview with Putin last week in which he barely spoke at times. The Russian leader delivered lengthy monologues. When Carlson did get a word in, Putin frequently dismissed him and continued with the lecture. And it says here, the translator said, Putin noticed it. He said he tried to this is Putin.
He was bored.
He said he tried, he's talking about Buckethead or stupid Tucker Carlson. He tried to interrupt me several times, but still, surprisingly, for a Western journalist, he turned out to be patient and he listened to my long dialogues, especially those related to history, Putin said, posted in the Kremlin on the Kremlin website. That was a big disappointment for a strong leader like me.
He should have had a woman. A woman should have done that interview.
This is Putin. Honestly speaking, I did not fully enjoy the interview. He said, laughing, according to a translated clip. He didn't enjoy it.
But everybody else did. That's mega. Tucker Carlson fans did.
He was boring to him.
Yes.
He was boring. He didn't ask him anything
ruffle
that
some
meant
feathers.
anything.
That's what you do. Even if he was too likable, he was trying to not step on mega people to get upset with him.
Even if you wanted him to come off good, you still needed to make him come off strong.
Well,
you made Putin come off weak. And that's what he didn't like. The Ukraine and the world should have been fearing Putin after this after this interview. They could have still sided with him. He could have still gave his thing of, this is why I want Ukraine. This is why they belong to us. This is the history behind it. But he should have came off as a dictator.
Yes.
I'm Putin and that land belongs to me. But when you got a bonehead sitting across from you, you can't even carry back the right message with them.
Right. So I had to just kind of go along with it, and it's just the way the whole thing was leading.
Let's see. Justice says Putin clown Tucker. Wendy says petty, loophole. I agree with you, Kim, and messy.
Yep.
So that was the whole thing with Tucker Carlson. For all of these people who like to get in the comment section, I'm so sick of y'all. Y'all always keep taking up for it and saying, well, what news outlet did you watch? I don't know how many times I have to say this. We're not Democrat or Republican. Both parties are horrible.
All news outlets.
I watch all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with sending money to Ukraine. Yeah, you thought I would, didn't you? No, I don't. Right. But not for the same reasons mega people probably don't agree with it. I say there's no plan. What's the outlet?
I did agree with partly with, because I'm in between with this one, because you're thinking Putin is going to continue on no matter what we allow or don't allow. But I do agree with the comment that one of the people made on your Facebook page about leading the Ukraine leader on, thinking that there's an opportunity or a chance.
Saying.
It's unfortunate.
Quit doing that.
Ukraine may not win this one. And we just kind of gave money to him and made him think that there's a chance.
Y'all keep thinking, and the man is an actor. I already told you what I thought about him. Yeah. I never liked him in the first place.
I think we messed up.
I always felt like Zelensky was an actor. Yeah. Always. I told you that. Right. Even with putting on military gear. The one day that the Russians got close to where he was, they packed him and his family up so fast and moved them out of the country. It was ridiculous. Well, quit showing yourself with a military outfit on. If they got to rush you out of the country every time Putin gets near you. Right. And that's what Putin wanted. He wants that man to fear him. Yeah. And he wants the world to fear him. Right. And Tucker Carlson with his bonehead didn't make that happen. No. He's too stupid.
But everybody... Oh, it's such a good interview. That was a good interview.
Thank you.
Just the fact that he interviewed Putin. That don't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything. And Putin said he was weak. So for all you mega people and all you Republicans and all you people who love that Putin and Tucker Carlson interview, go take that up with Putin. Because he didn't like it. And it came out of his words, not CNN, not MSNBC. His words.
His words.
All right. Justice says Tucker was scared and wanted to make sure he didn't get poisoned.
Thank you. That's what it was.
My mother laughing.
Because if he would have pushed it too hard, he may not have made it out of the country.
He didn't want to end up like what's her name, the basketball player.
You're damned if you
He
do.
didn't want to end up like the basketball player because he knows darn well Biden wouldn't have negotiated to get him out.
Everybody would have left him over there.
They would have let. Put it this way: before Tucker Carlson would have been let out and negotiated with our president, they would have been releasing everybody, real criminals in Russia, to come back here before Tucker Carlson would have.
was like, keep them there.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right, so let's move on. Big dummy. He even looks stupid in this picture. Good picture.
I know. I had to get a stupid photo.
Real quick, Will Smith's next movie.